We are back here on the Talk Monster. I am Yaffee, your voice of reason in a world that, yes, is sometimes beyond reason. Don't forget to like the Yaffee Facebook page. And since Max is on vacation this week, I'll spell it for you. Yaffee. Or follow me on X at Yaffee. It's time for our weekly Tennessee conservative update. And Olivia Lupia is going to do it this week. She's a reporter with the Tennessee Conservative. You can read her stuff and all their stuff at TennesseeConservativeNews.com. Olivia, how are you today?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Doing good. So let's just get right into the stories. One story you guys have on the site is this: the investigation into attack ads that were directed at Michelle Renaud during the 2024 primary. Apparently, it revealed some illegitimate political operatives' involvement. I mean, this was a big issue here locally, kind of a surprise victory from Michelle Renaud. Patsy Hazelwood, I mean, she had ads all over the place, everything else, did interviews, but still lost in this area. But talk about the story a little bit.
Yeah, so I think to contextualize a little bit, like you said, Michelle was sort of a dark horse. I mean, we always, want our conservative grassroots to win, but we just know that the establishment is usually just so well financed, so well organized, outspent sometimes 10-1 in these local races. And Michelle filed this complaint after she won because she happened to notice that a lot of these, attack ads and things like that were coming from out of state. And there are very complex and convoluted campaign finance laws in Tennessee, everywhere, but Tennessee is particularly convoluted in my opinion, which state that, if an organization wants to give money from out of state, they have to declare themselves as a PAC. And this group that was funding these, attack ads basically didn't do that. So Michelle filed the complaint with the Election Finance Board. And I actually have to tell you, I was surprised that they took this up and are seeming to find favor on the right, literally and figuratively, I guess, on the right side of things. The board has been pretty notorious in the past for targeting campaigns and organizations that are grassroots or conservative and who are usually, again, already massively underfunded. So that itself, I think, is a good thing. And then the out-of-state company, which turns out to be like a conglomerate of a bunch of people. I forget his first name, but his last name is Datweiler. He's a group who has also acted as campaign treasurer for Republican political candidates, including Diana Harshbarger in the U.S. House and Andy Ogles. So it's kind of weird because those are actually, I think, two more conservative members of the Tennessee congressional delegation. So I think there's a lot more than meets the eye on this. But basically, they admitted in this letter that, oops, yes, by Tennessee law, we should have registered as an out-of-state PAC. Our bad, we didn't do that. So how about we just basically pay you $2,500, i.e. bribe you, pay a fine or a fee, and we make this all go away. And the board actually came back. We did a follow-up article on this. It's up on the site today, I think, and rejected that offer because basically the chairman said, you should have known better. And we have concerns that this complaint is the same group is tied to another group who Ken Yeager, who's he's a senator in the Tennessee House, filed a complaint against this group when there seems to be some backdoor dealings with this firm also handling Bobby Harshbarger's campaign, who won a state senate. So there's a lot of interconnectivity in this and that. Now, let me also preface that with saying I don't personally trust Ken Yeager further than I can throw him.
Oh, really?
Well, this was the son of the state senator who was arrested for DUI and hit and run in Georgia, and the ethics committee here in Tennessee did nothing about it. So they just brushed it under the rug. Yeah, we wrote about that. You can look it up. It's on the site. But you have a state representative on vacation who was publicly intoxicated, rather, and
toxically too,
really hurt someone. All those words, it's all the same. I promise I haven't been drinking, not yet anyway. So anyway, it's kind of convoluted and it's very interesting, but I have to say, I think the board's right on this one. And it's unfortunate because we had some great legislation, I believe it was by Janice Bowling this past year, that was going to basically really crack down on out-of-state donations for Tennessee primaries. So because we saw so much of an influx of out-of-state money particularly during the 2024 primary cycle, that's how a lot of these candidates ended up getting elected. It wasn't even from within their own constituency. It was because money was absolutely dumped into the state to try and get a lot of these pro-school voucher, pro-Bill Lee plan, that kind of stuff into the state house. So very interesting, complex, convoluted situation. But I think, and certainly for Michelle's sake, I hope this is the right call for them.
It's interesting though, because really when I first saw this story, I just saw it as a testament to Michelle Renault's victory, more of a testament to it, because he had all these efforts against her and she still won.
Absolutely. And she's been a really great one to get to know. We obviously, like I said, really, really hope that our conservative grassroots candidates put their money where their mouth is. And she's definitely been doing that. She had a pretty successful first term, I think. She kind of dove right in. She didn't hesitate. When you watch her in some of the committee hearings and stuff and on the floor, it was really awesome to see her really represent not just her constituency, but, the best interests of conservatives across the state of Tennessee as a whole. So it absolutely is a testament. 138 votes was her margin in the primary over Patsy. So when they say every vote counts, every vote counts.
Speak with Olivia Lupia. She is with the Tennessee Conservative. Another story you guys are covering over there, it's about a Tennessee whistleblower who filed a complaint against the National Accreditation Board for DEI discrimination. What's this all about?
This is super interesting because I think for the first time we're really seeing at least for the first time in probably 4, maybe even 8 years, a swing in the actual political climate, even in the higher education realm, which I think anyone who really pays attention knows is kind of notoriously slimy and shifty. So there's a PR. She spent 30 years in public relations. This Middle Tennessee woman, Mary Beth West, she built her own firm. She's worked with other firms, and she's actually considered an international expert on PR ethics. So she kind of knows what she's talking about in this field. I think I'll give her credit for that. But she lodged a formal complaint against the Accrediting Council on Education in Journalism and Mass Communications. So in short, this is the national organization that handles accreditation for any school, with like a journalism program or communications or anything like that. So according to her complaint, this board has weaponized its power and she cites one specific incident, but is downgrading and de-accrediting schools who aren't complying with what they call, DEI mandates and that kind of thing. So basically by obeying the federal mandates, which the Trump administration is putting in place, and there's a lot of them, that's requiring DEI to come out of accrediting universities. There's another one that deals with, government programs in general. There's another one that talks about federal funding being tied to DEI departments and things like that. So these schools are actually complying with that or never gave into that nonsense in the first place, which is very few and far between. So this accreditation council basically said, that's fine, we'll just take away your accreditation, which obviously affects whether students would want to come there because certain accreditation, validates your degree or your certificate or your programs, et cetera, et cetera. So again, a kind of a very convoluted bureaucratic system, but she really pointed out, which I thought was interesting, a lot of this specific accrediting council, their members, many of them are appointed by the press association, there's like a national press association and the Public Relations Society of America. That's what it is. And so they appoint a lot of these accreditation members, including its president, they just took like a way hard left swing in 2017, went from being quote unquote, apolitical to spouting off against Trump, hosting secret DEI webinars, basically to teach people in PR and human resources, that kind of stuff, how to tweak their language and subvert the DEI stuff so they don't get caught. So that's the kind of organization that's appointing these accrediting members. So she filed this whole complaint, and she said she was very grateful actually for the Trump administrative orders because without them, the complaint probably would have just been shuffled or ignored, or oops, we lost your email, that kind of thing. So this is a really novel thing we're seeing here. So hopefully that pans out. I think they're going to hear the case at the end of the month. The overseeing, there's a big accreditation committee that oversees all accreditation organizations. So she's taking it to the highest possible quote unquote court in the land, at least in this industry. And they'll hear the complaint and move things from there. So that's a very good sign that it's even being heard. And there's even some congressional legislation, I think, that's going to come out of this. That's kind of waiting to see how this case goes and how they can build that to ensure these accreditation committees can't abuse their power like this.
Yeah, I mean, sounds good. Bye-bye, DEI. Yeah. There's been a vibe shift when Trump was elected, a vibe shift away from DEI. So that's good. It's good to hear. Olivia Lupia is with the Tennessee Conservative. We got to talk about our brothers and sisters in Nashville. Do you live in Nashville, Olivia? Are you in that area?
Fortunately for me, no.
Okay, I didn't think so. But you guys had a story about how Nashville officials are proposing that property owners cover the cost of removing homeless encampments. I mean, it sounds like it's a basic job of government, but no. They want the property owners to pay for it.
Yeah, I have so many thoughts. It almost makes you laugh because, I thought I might be reading a Babylon Bee headline or something
right?
satirical. Because I was like, "What are you talking about?" But it is. It's ridiculous. But I can't say that it's not without potentially being enacted just because of just all the sorts of things that they're doing down there. They're radical, and it's, to me, I thought it was ironic because it's like, oh, here, you pay for the mess that we helped create, which to me is just the slogan for liberal, socialistic, big city, blue government. Oops, we made a mess, which we told you wasn't going to be a mess in the first place. But now that we did make this mess, if you could just pay for it, that would be great. And by the way, it probably won't change anything, but let's just try it and see, because it has to work this time, right? So literally asking residents and business owners, this has been proposed by the director of Metro Nashville's Office of Homeless Services, because they have, obviously, homelessness is a big enough problem that they have an entire, department dedicated to it, government department, taxpayer funded, by the way.
Of course.
Department. Mm-hmm. So this department is saying, hey, instead of us using the tax dollars you already give us, what if you have to help pay if you want a homeless encampment or a homeless person removed from your property, whether that's business or private? Basically saying, under the guise of, monitoring and cleanup of your properties, that's already your responsibility as a property owner. So because you own property and, your job is to keep it clean and keep it clear or maintain it to whatever standards you see fit, homeless people and or potentially criminals who would like to camp out there for the night should be your responsibility too. So it's so ridiculous. You just can't possibly think that they're for real, but they absolutely are. And unfortunately, with the direction that Nashville is taking at a very accelerated rate, particularly with what Mayor O'Connell is doing, particularly with the illegal immigration and fighting back against a lot of that stuff. In college universities, Belmont just admitted that they harbor illegal aliens and all sorts of stuff. It's like I can't even pretend to think that they're not serious about this, and that's very unfortunate. But
it's like, oh, you have to take care of your own property. It's like, oh, fine, then I ain't paying property taxes. How about that?
Exactly. Right. Which, by the way, will also go up with the budget that passed in Nashville this year. So,
yeah, and they want to do that in Chattanooga.
If you live in Nashville, yeah, my heart goes out to anyone who lives in Nashville right now. It's a tough situation.
Olivia Lupia, she is with the Tennessee Conservative. You can read these stories at TennesseeConservativeNews.com. And the podcast of this interview, of course, will be up on my podcast, but they post it on their site as well. Olivia, really appreciate you coming on. As always, we'll talk to you again in the future.
Always a joy. Thanks so much.